Ladies and gentlemen, today I'd like to speak to you a little bit about Netflix. Netflix, as you all know, is a major streaming entertainment company, and it has about 155 million subscribers and a market value estimated at about $164 billion. Now, the reason why they've been so successful is not necessarily because of the quality or the quantity of their content that they're creating, but rather their use of big data. Their business model is based on users paying a monthly bill, a subscription, where they could watch the shows or the movies or anything that they would like unlimited. But what they do is that they track the information that their users are generating. And by the information or the data, it's mostly what they're looking for is their habits, their tastes, and their interests overall. So what Netflix could do with this algorithm, which is what they use to predict using this information, is they ultimately generate more data that they assess and they analyze on a continuous basis. It's not that they necessarily have a sixth sense or that this is magic, but rather the success that they had is based on the analysis that they conduct on their own data that they're generating from their users. So the science of Netflix has to deal with, and what they're studying specifically are your searches, the devices that you're using, the favorite day of the week that you have to watch your favorite movie or TV show. Do you watch them entirely or in pieces? And do you end up switching from show to show often or not? So they're not necessarily investing a ton of money into each one of their shows, but rather they're picking and choosing which is the best return for their investment, and they use the data to figure that out. They kind of try to understand what show attracts the most people. So their story started with their own show, actually. And when they were basically a tech company before an entertainment company. And by analyzing the data that they did have on hand, they realized that many of their users were interested in politics and David Fincher as a director. And they combined these two things together and they got House of Cards. And so House of Cards was their first show that they produced for their own audiences. And it was tailor-made for them with this in mind. They invested, I believe, $100 million. But different than normal television is that they released all of them at the same time. So you didn't have to wait for next week to see the next show. You could sit down and binge on them right from the beginning. And that was kind of like a paradigm shift or a game changer in that industry.
Muchas personas que se dedican al sector audiovisual han criticado a Netflix, ¿no? Argumentando.
They also did a series of 10 trailers that they would show their audiences, and part of that was to glean exactly who was in the audience and what they were most interested in. So that was also a novel approach that they had. But still, in the industry, many people in the entertainment industry weren't or are not impressed with Netflix per se. They feel that there's a huge emphasis on everything but creativity. I guess you can't win them all. However, what they do well is that they invest in certain products in a way that their competition simply cannot. But they do it, when they do it, it's so strategic that it usually pays off. Case in point, The Irishman with Martin Scorsese. He wanted to tell the story. Nobody wanted to pick it up. Netflix was the only one willing to drop $100 million into it. Apparently, it paid off for them. So, the next time you sit down to watch your favorite TV show, what I will tell you is just know that there's someone watching and tracking everything that you're doing. However, that's kind of how they figure out exactly what you want to see next. Thank you. Where's the mouse?